The Latin America International Championships for the Pokemon TCG recently concluded, marking the first major event to showcase cards from the set Paradox Rift. This tournament signaled a significant shift in the meta, introducing new strategies and showcasing the diversity of playstyles among top-tier players from around the world. People travel internationally to compete for the substantial championship points and over $500,000 in cash prizes available at the IC event. ICs offer a unique spectacle featuring various playstyles and skilled players, complemented by exceptional commentary by Bert's TCG and Pumpka Amy. Both have pretty awesome YouTube channels too, so you should definitely check them out if you haven't before. After this video though. Yeah, I'm talking to you. And the final spotlighted decks featuring new Paradox Rift cards, specifically Iron Hands and Iron Valiant. Each were accompanied by a Johto Beast, resulting in an exciting Entei vs Raikou battle, adding an extra layer of excitement to the tournament, and that's a completely unbiased opinion. While Paradox Rift cards made a remarkable impression, top-tier decks from previous sets continued to shine. Amongst the old guard, 3 Gardevoir decks, a Lost Box Giratina Vstar, Lost Zone Zard, and Snorlax Stall deck all secured positions in the top 8. Not to mention, emphasizing the truly international nature of the championship, 7 different countries were represented by the top 8 players. Juho Kalama emerged as the overall winner with the Miraidon EX deck, dispelling any notions of it being a mid-tier contender after taking out 2 recent major tournaments. This deck made up over 8% of the Day 1 field, with only 11% converting into Day 2 though, players dropping representation down to a bit over 5%. But top-tier players like Juho showcased its ability to set up quickly and apply significant early game pressure. Miraidon EX and Raikou V with the addition of Iron Hands EX from Paradox Rift, adding a crucial advantage into single prize decks to clean up knockouts, taking extra prizes while it does. The Flaffy engine makes setting up backup attackers a breeze and even gives the deck another glass cannon attacker in Raichu V, being able to easily dispatch large health opposing Pokemon like Stage 2 EXs. Taking second place, Noah Sawyer piloted an Iron Valiant and Entei V, an archetype that flew under the radar leading up to the event. This fast-paced deck capitalizes on Iron Valiant's ability to place damage counters, taking knockouts without even needing to attack, potentially even on the first turn of the game. Combining this with Entei's Roaring Rondo attack, dealing with large targets isn't an issue, and it also offers draw power with its fleet-footed ability. It showcased its potential to disrupt opponents by taking crucial knockouts before they even have a chance to set up, and at times even taking 2 turns back-to-back by using Medicham to clean up knockouts with Yoga Loop. There's also a Radiant Charizard as another attacker to quickly set up during the late game, and Squawkabilly for added draw power on the first turn to ensure you get as many Iron Valiants to proc as possible. The list features a large amount of switch cards to constantly apply pressure, and even has a devolution TM, so if your opponent evolves up into an EX, you can still revert them back to a basic for an 80 damage knockout. This build can set up incredibly fast and put tremendous pressure on opponents. It definitely seems like a mainstay for the meta. Gardevoir EX making up 20% of Day 1 and 25% of the board on Day 2 comes as no surprise, as it seemed to be a mainstay since its release. It's also had a strong presence in the top 8, securing 3 spots, highlighting its continued viability in the evolving meta. It was played by Syrian Farah taking 3rd, Matthew Barasay with 5th, and Jeremy Gibson in 8th. The inclusion of Professor Turo's Scenario, Countercatcher, and the Paradox form of Jigglypuff Screamtail from Paradox Rift seemed to be the choice for all 3 players, with their lists seeming very similar. It definitely seems like Gardevoir is a deck that's here to stay. Do you think it will continue to see success through the upcoming rotation next year as well? Let me know in the comments down below. Claiming 4th, we have Gabriel Veloso with Giratina Vstar, considered by many as the best deck in format and definitely showing its potential. This deck made up 11% of Day 1 with a high conversion rate at 22%, boosting its representation to 14.5 on Day 2. The deck offers raw power as well as versatility, featuring format familiar faces Radiant Greninja and Cramorant for single prize matchups and early game pressure. The Giratina to deal with V-Star Pokemon easily. Up against Stage 2 EXs though that are outside of its 280 damage, you do have Sableye to help set up or clean up those knockouts. There's also the option of using its V-Star power to just declare a knockout on your opponent. Interestingly though, this build also offers a V-Star option with Forest Seal Stone as an alternative to help set up or get a card in a pinch. As this list features high counts of Path to the Peak, it sets back opponents while only slightly hindering your own Radiant Greninja. With high counts of switch cards and Jet Energy, allowing continual use of your compies to establish your Lost Zone early, getting your Mirage Gates and attackers online is a breeze. And securing 5th place was another Lost Box deck, representing only 3% of the field on Day 1 though, with a conversion rate of 21%, resulting in a boosted presence on Day 2 of 3.8%. was Lost Box Zard. Renan Cameraman piloted this deck and opted for Radiant Charizard over Greninja, preferring the late game powerhouse that can easily be charged up to deliver decisive blows on sizable targets, especially those previously weakened by Cramorant or Sableye. And additionally, the deck features a lone Roaring Moon EX, handling large targets in one shot with Frenzied Gouging, similar to Giratina Vstar, just telling your opponent that they're knocked out. Notably, the stadium choices focused on a self-setup rather than disrupting your opponent though, incorporating Beach Court for Comfy's for your treat and Artisan to swiftly establish your bench. And claiming 7th was Keto Area, surprising everyone with Snorlax Stall. This unconventional deck aims for victory by causing your opponent to lose by rendering them unable to play the game effectively. Snorlax's ability will prevent retreating from the active position, creating a lock that'll immobilize a non-attacking Pokemon, unless the opponent has multiple pivoting options. This is a little difficult when there are so many copies of Switch and Escape Rope, as well as Jet Energy showing up in lists, but the strategy involves wearing down the opponent's deck gradually. Misfortune Sisters will discard item cards from the top of the deck, hindering access to switch outs, while Temple of Sinnoh restricts the use of Jet Energy. The supporter card Sydney ensures that even if your opponent's holding a counter stadium, it isn't readily available to bump it out because you can just discard it from their hand. As a deck doesn't take prizes, it'll utilize counter catchers after giving up a prize card to maintain the lock with ease, giving you easy access to Gust. Through the clever use of Cylean and Palpat, the deck repeatedly uses these combos, depleting the opponent's resources until they've run out of cards, and just lose the game. The first thing you'd think of though to counter the strategy is just by playing a single attacking Pokemon and keeping any other Pokemon off the bench and just in your hand. Snorlax Stall has thought of this though, and is going to be using Erica's Invitation as a workaround, effectively functioning like boss's orders for a basic Pokemon from the player's hand to lock a non-attacking Pokemon into the active. So yeah, that's fun, right? We're having fun? Yeah? As it's a best of 3 format, the plan is to win the game by deck out and likely never even resolve game 2. And that's it for the run through of the top 8 decks from LAIC. There were a number of other interesting decks seeing play at the event, as well as showing that creativity for deck building is very much alive in the current meta, and a number of strategies are possible. What are your thoughts on the state of the game? Are you excited for the direction that it's heading in? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for hanging around to the end of the video. I don't often do meta coverage like this, so it's something that you've enjoyed and want to see more of, definitely let me know, and well, we can keep doing it. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with the shenanigans, and if you're after a fun deck to play, I've got you covered. There should be some popping up on the screen right now. Till next time though, stay golden, you Goombas.